Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I'm George. We're all George. Welcome to another market open stream. Let's talk about the U.S. market, some of the data that came out this morning, and of course, let's talk about Bitcoin and how there may be a supply shock coming soon. And if so, what does that mean overall? Well, let's discuss. Good morning, guys. Welcome. Looking at the U.S. market, looking kind of even. It was actually in the green, and there's the market bell. It was in the green, and then we received a piece of data, and that kind of brought us down. It's kind of, well, it could still go either way. Like I said, right now, Wall Street investors, these big boys, they don't know what to do exactly. They're itching to come in, but they also don't want to get burned. They don't want to come in too quickly. So there's still a lot of debate whether or not, the Fed is going to be hawkish or continue to be dovish, or I don't know. It's kind of iffy right now, right? Target released or had their earnings report, and actually they did pretty good. They came in better than expected. So a lot of analysts thought that wasn't going to be the case, but people are spending more once again. People are just sick of not spending, I guess, at least in the U.S. Americans love to spend, and yesterday we had a piece of data that showed, I forgot what it was called, but it was measuring basically sales, and it had been going up in the last quarter, and same thing now. Target confirms that, yeah, people are buying, but warns of continued slowdown. So all these forecasts have been pretty negative. Home Depot also had a pretty negative forecast. These companies, I think they're just trying to be cautious. They're like, yeah, we had a pretty good fourth quarter, but, going forward from here on out, maybe not as strong, but maybe, who knows, maybe it will be strong. Again, everyone's kind of guessing at this point, right? Look at home prices. Home prices went up dramatically to end the year, 5.8% higher in December. And we're only, in terms of prices, we're only 4.4% below the June peak. So think about it. All-time high for housing prices, we're only less than 5% away. That's how hot homes still are. Basically, everyone wants to lock in their sub 3% mortgage rates. No one wants to sell their homes and possibly get a 6 or 7% mortgage rate. So that contributes. But also what's contributing is just basically high demand, right? High demand. And then, because of all this, I said people are guessing, right? Wall Street guys, analysts, fund guys, they're all guessing like what does it all mean, right? We get good economic data which shows the economy is coming back and strong, but what about Powell, right? So now some are predicting the Fed may raise their Fed fund rate to 6%. We start out with 5. Now we're talking about 5.25. Now there's talks about maybe it goes up as high as 6. I don't think it's going to get that high. That's just too high. But anyways, people are still just kind of guessing, wondering what's going on. That's why the market has been kind of wonky as of late, right? And no one really knows. But here's a good chart comparing the U.S. tech stocks, which, had a little rally, but now has since then come down a little bit. You have Bitcoin, which had a pretty good rally, still holding much higher than tech stocks. And then you have the Chinese stocks, which also has been going up and holding much better. And we know China is trying to open up and, improve their economy as well, right? So that's kind of like what it looks like right now. You could see right around the beginning of the year, all three went up and we all had a good rally. But now it's at that point where like I said, in the U.S., these fund managers and analysts, they don't quite know what to expect from Powell, so things have come back down a little bit. Bitcoin is still holding very well, but Chinese stocks continue to hold very well. Looks like wants to continue. Kind of a good broad overview of what's happening right now, but this is all short term, right? This is short term macro stuff, but long term we know the one that will dominate all three here, of course, is Bitcoin. It's not even close. If you zoom out to 5 years, 10 years, it's not even close, and will always be like that going forward. But Bank of America thinks that this year will be the price divergence year for crypto. So what does that mean? What does that mean? Well, we know that there's a lot of niches, however you pronounce that. I like saying niches, but people like saying niche. We have a lot of categories, a lot of segments, right? We have the store values like Bitcoin, but we also have utility coins. We also have like payment coins. We also have stable coins. I mean, there's a lot of categories, but also if you break it down, there are subcategories, like if these tokens are used for, let's say, gaming or metaverse or DeFi. I mean, there's a lot of projects out there. And according to Bank of America, they think that the ones powering the chains, such as like Ethereum and Avalanche and Cosmos and Solana and Cardano, these are the ones that will stand out because they have the most utility. And then they actually said versus, like, say, the meme coins, which have no utility, according to Bank of America. Now, when we do go into a bull market, meme coins will go up, regardless if they have utility or not. But they will move up along with everything else. But overall, I do agree. This is why I love L1 projects, L2 projects. To me, they're the most fascinating because they're the base protocol, the network protocol, the operating system, so to speak, for these new age dApps. They're very important. And Bank of America believes this year will separate these categories or niches. And we'll see. It kind of started already. We have noticed, like, AI had a boom, right? And then kind of came back down. Metaverses and games started coming up again. Now we're seeing like L2s come up. We've seen some DeFi come up as well, right? We're starting to see a little separation there. But overall, it all depends on the big boy Bitcoin, which brings me to the main topic, the supply. Ethereum and Bitcoin supply on exchanges, 5-year low. Is it bullish with a question mark? Of course it is. Of course it is. When you have the supply dropping, okay, that means there's just less of it to go around. Demand, we know, is still doing this. Just like my thumbnail. Demand is going up. Supply is going down, right? I just noticed my camera's cutting this off here. Let me remove my camera here. And, when that happens, price goes up, right? It may not happen right away since there are still plenty of Bitcoin out there on the exchanges. But over time, as Bitcoin supply continues to drop and demand continues to explode upwards because of worldwide adoption, you know what's going to happen, right? It's just supply and demand. That's how prices is dictated, right? And that's exactly what's happening right now. You have a lot of retail investors like you and I, average Joes. You have a lot of whales. You have a lot of institutions, a lot of companies that are just buying and hoarding Bitcoin for the future. More and more of it. I saw this story, Block. You guys know, Block used to be Square, right? They say they hold $130 million worth of Bitcoin, and Jack Dorsey is still the CEO. $130 million, that's what they say, but it's actually, I think it's more, because according to this Bitcoin Treasuries, this has them pegged at $190 million, so give or take a few million. But my point is this, I mean, this is just looking at companies that hold Bitcoin, and you have so many that have come into this space just within the last few years alone. Imagine in the future how many more will come into space. And when they buy Bitcoin, they don't buy like 1 or 10. They buy thousands to tens of thousands. And I'm sure if BlackRock actually disclosed how much they own, it'll probably be up there too. There's a lot that haven't disclosed. These are just companies that have disclosed. Like the BlackRocks of the world, Fidelities of the world, Soros of the world. They could have tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin already. We don't know because they don't want to disclose that. But it just goes to show you the supply is dropping because it's not just like made up. I think a lot of people just think, oh, it's just made up. These are all like nonsense on-chain metrics. No. When you have a single company like MicroStrategy hold 132,000 Bitcoin, that makes you think, that's quite a lot. And Galaxy Digital holding 40,000, even Voyager 12,000. I know they're bankrupt, but still, they had 12,000 Bitcoins. I don't know where that went, but that's a lot. Tesla, even though they sold off most of their Bitcoin, they still control 10,000 plus Bitcoin, 250 million worth. And then you have Coinbase, you have HUD, Marathon, Block, and then it goes on, right? And that doesn't even include the trust also. The trust, the ETFs that's around the world. Let's not forget Grayscale Trust at 640,000 Bitcoins. And then all these other ones like Purpose ETF at 25,000, CoinShares at 48,000. I mean, come on. You add all this up, this is a huge number taken away from circulation, right? I mean, and it's only going to grow. This number is only going to grow. So the supply shock is going to come. We're starting to see a little bit of it, but when it's in full force, that's what you need to get ready because Bitcoin will be skyrocketing then and could be, right, coming as soon as 2024, right before the halving event, and then certainly right after the halving event, leading into 2025. That's when we could see Bitcoin push through its previous high and form a crazy new high. Who knows how high it could be? 200,000, 250,000, maybe even higher, right? And of course, the fundamentals still support that. It's not just a halving event, right? Bitcoin itself is just growing by leaps and bounds. The Lightning Network hits an all-time high for liquidity, continues to get bigger, basically giving another use for Bitcoin being a money transfer, being a payment rail, one that's very effective. You could use it without a Lightning Network, but with the Lightning Network, Bitcoin becomes the greatest, payment network on earth because now you can send Bitcoin anywhere, basically feeless and instantaneously without any middleman telling you whether you could do that or not, or asking you for KYC information or blocking your transaction. Can't be done. That's how amazing Bitcoin is and its network. The hash rate continues to go up, again, at an all-time high, right? And, of course, we are still following the same fractal patterns as before, previous bottoms that we have seen, right? Breaking out of these trend lines and then breaking out of moving averages. And if you look at where we are right now, looks very, very similar to the previous breakouts from 2018, 2020, and I've shown many others comparing to even 2015, right? All very similar. Good stuff. Very, very good stuff. As for some of these other categories that I just talked about earlier, we do see a big push now, a big push into metaverses. Just recently I covered this. Sandbox, one of the biggest metaverses out there, they partnered with Saudi Arabia it's just a general partnership for some general future metaverse plans, right? And, they're not the only ones. Now we're hearing about like large Japanese firms planning to develop a Japan metaverse economic zone. Same thing. It's like you're talking about like whole countries, whole cities that's planning for the metaverse, right? It'll be interesting how the future will be for metaverses. Right now, we know has been a gigantic failure for Meta. And some of the other firms that got in kind of got out, like Microsoft kind of got out and all these others got out. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe there'll be huge virtual cities to visit in the future. But these guys are trying to prepare for it. Another company that's going to be in the metaverse, Yuga Labs, who's behind like all the big name NFTs now, like CryptoPunk and Bored Ape and Mutant Ape and the other side, right? I'm still waiting for other side to come out. But they're also jumping into this craze, this NFT craze for Bitcoin. So they have just announced they will be coming out with something called 12-fold, a limited edition collection of 300 pieces inscribed on Satoshis on the Bitcoin blockchain. I think this is brilliant on their part. It's going to be auctioned off soon, but each one will probably be like worth a gazillion dollars because there will only be 300. And this will be on a blockchain, right? What's interesting about this is, and people haven't thought about it, is you have to provide it with an empty wallet, empty Bitcoin wallet. Everything will be bidded with Bitcoin. And the reason why for this is because once you get the NFTs and subscribed on a Bitcoin or whatever SAT, and you got to make sure you don't use that, because if you do, let's say you end up using that SAT for like, I don't know, for network fees or something like that, you accidentally send it away, then you're sending away your NFT. So basically, you got to be very careful if you get a Bitcoin-based NFT that you don't actually send it away. Kind of interesting to think about. What else is there? Second Ethereum testnet successfully simulates Shanghai hard fork. A lot of people are very looking forward to this. Having the ability to unstake ETH, I think that's great overall. And plus, it gets rid of this mental block that, hey, now I could stake ETH without worry, right? Right now, only 14% of ETH is staked versus like 70% for other proof of stake chains. So that number could grow drastically from 14% to 50% to 70%. That's going to be a huge thing once it happens. And then lastly, I saw this. Ripple's key partner SBI is investing into a crypto lender called HashGrab. I guess Japan's security division or security commission is not so worried about lending projects like the SEC, but SBI is a big supporter of Ripple, so maybe there's going to be some kind of collaboration between Ripple and HashHub. We'll see. We'll see. I'm waiting for Ripple to win that lawsuit. That's the biggest thing. We need Ripple to win that lawsuit against the SEC, not to pump up XRP, but to pump down Gary Gensler, if that makes sense. We need someone to fight back, and we need someone to actually win and put him in his place, right? So I'm still looking forward to that. All right. Looks like Bitcoin is up slightly, 23.5. That's looking good. The U.S. market is, the NASDAQ is a little bit up. We're still kind of even, but today, we can see a good day for Bitcoin. All right, let's do some Q&A. Bitcoin Billy asks, George, do you use DeFi? If so, in what ways? Hey, the most basic way is just to use a self-custody wallet. I think many people don't realize that, but yeah, that's part of it. You are becoming your own bank and you're securing your own crypto. In a way, that's DeFi. That's the most basic, I would say. Just using a self-custody wallet. The second way is to just trade on DEXs, right? Rather than trade everything on centralized exchanges, trading on DEXs. That's surely DeFi. Also, staking is DeFi. Just staking your coins, even powering the networks Like you could stake Polygon, you could stake Cosmos, you could stake Avalanche, you could stake BNB, you could stake a lot of things. That's DeFi. These are many ways to use DeFi, right? DeFi doesn't necessarily mean the bad things like lending and stuff. No. All these things, basic things, are part of DeFi. All right. Speaking of supply, HBAR is releasing 6.7-ish% of the total supply to be sold March 1st for company use. Thoughts, does this make HBAR very centralized? No. No. You could argue they were always centralized if they hold a large amount of tokens, but what's considered a large amount? 10%, 20%, 50%? I would say anything above 30% being held by the team would be considered centralized. But selling it overall will obviously add sell pressure to the supply and probably bring the price down a little bit. But whether or not it's centralized, there's many different ways to look at that. You can also look at it from a team perspective, the governance perspective. Who's making all these decisions? I know Hedera used to say that they like to make all the decisions along with the console, but there even certain things they don't even let the console decide. The team is just going to decide. Is that centralized? I mean, there's a lot of aspects to whether or not a project is centralized or not. Andrew, I appreciate that, man. Appreciate your support. Gala versus UFO gaming. Not in the same realm of things. UFO gaming is just, I believe, it's just one game, right? I don't think they're a game platform, but Gala is. Gala and a few others, they are gaming platforms. I don't know, unless UFO gaming became a gaming platform. Let me just check out real quick, make sure I'm not wrong about that. All right, come on now. Future of blockchain gaming. Dark metaverse. Enter future with play to earn gaming, our games, you know. I guess I'm wrong about that. They are a gaming platform. But I don't know how many games are actually out. That's the thing. There's a lot of gaming projects that say they're coming out with a AAA game, or they show all these cool graphics, but their games are never out. So that's the problem. We'll see. Relatively low market cap. Joel, in the future, man. In the future, you'll get to see. Are you bullish on Mutable X? Can it 10x? I'm not bullish, but I think they have potential because L2s are hot. So they're L2. So certainly they could heat up as well. Is Sol dead? I don't think it's dead. But they keep getting more and more black eyes, that's for sure, with every network outage. Am I still bullish on VET? Yes. I'm a gamer, have always been. Not a single crypto game is even half decent. I don't necessarily disagree with you. Can you give opinion on GBDC? Can you give it? No. GBDC is a stock, my man. It's not a crypto. It's a stock you buy of this trust that Grayscale has, and you're basically buying like a portion of it. It's a trust full of Bitcoins, but you can't redeem it or anything. So I've always said it's kind of pointless to buy GBTC. You just buy Bitcoin. There's so many avenues these days to buy Bitcoin with, so just buy Bitcoin. Does Sol have a recent outage again? Yes, just a few days ago. Their entire chain was down for like a day, and they had to downgrade the software and reboot a couple times. Max P. I may bring it back in the future again. You know, we'll see. We'll see. What do you think? Shabiran coming out will have an impact on SHIB? I would say so. I would say so. I mean, it really depends on how the team executes, but right now they're teasing it quite a lot. They need to stop teasing and just come out with it. You could see right here trending. SHIB is actually down today. A lot of hype around it, but they need to come out with it and really give it a lot of use case. You know, announce they're moving their decks to it, announce maybe they're bringing some gaming projects to it, or maybe their own gaming project. They're working on a metaverse, right? If they can come out with it and bring a whole lot of dApps into it right away, that's going to be big for them. But we'll see. We'll see. What do you think about Render? I'm neutral on them. I could see some people making an argument. I like their new token economics, but I'm still kind of neutral on them. They could turn out better. I think they need to move off of Ethereum, first of all. They need to go on to like Optimism or Arbitrum. They need to go on another L2 because that will help them decrease fees tremendously. Can BNB reach all-time high and more? How many X? BNB is not far off from its high. So I think their high was like 600 or something. So they're only like 2X away. So can they get there? Yes. How much past it? Who knows? 5X, 10X? Could happen. Miles, I have no idea what you're saying, my man. H3X, you have like some kind of perversion or something, okay? It should not be driving you that crazy when I'm sipping my coffee. So, I'm sorry. Where can you get Arbitrum? You can't. They don't have a token, so that's the thing. They will come out with a token, but it's only used for governance. It's the same thing with Optimism. All these L2s, these tokens are just for governance. They're not really used for gas fees. ETH is ultimately still like the gas fee token, so it more or less still helps Ethereum. Orbs. Seems like an interesting project. They wanted to scale ETH smart contract to be more complex. Make your smart contract smarter. Okay, that's it. Decentralized backend, enhance the capability of existing EVM, not EVM. Okay. Yeah, it's not making it more complex. What this is just a layer 3 for executing EVM and trying to make virtual machine faster. You know what eliminates this altogether? And they even say it right here. Polygon. Once Polygon comes out with ZK EVM, it makes Orbs completely obsolete. Because ZK EVM will scale virtual machine. I mean, they had the right idea. Basically, L2s don't help scale execution of smart contracts. EVM, Ethereum Virtual Machine, is still very slow. This will solve it, but others are already working on it, like Polygon. So, yeah, I'm not a fan of Orbs. Miles, I appreciate your support, man. I appreciate your super chat, but you always talk like you're an 8-year-old, right? If you talk like a normal person, man, and if you're gonna ask a question, but don't act like you're an 8-year-old. Thoughts on Hive with VET and XCM mainnet? That's too many to talk about. What's Hive? I don't know what Hive is. LWJ. Appreciate your support. Hive is a thriving ecosystem with over 100 apps. Are they layer 2 or layer 1? Never heard of Hive. I guess they're their own layer 1. Yeah. Okay. I don't know of them, so I have to do more research. They're already on Binance and some of the other exchanges. Not KuCoin, not Coinbase. Okay, another L1. If you had to reject one of these three, which one would it be? Aave or Uniswap? I don't know. Out of the three, I would reject. I would just pick one, Uniswap. Let's just put it that way. Miles, I get it. But still, you don't have to act like an 8-year-old. Ask normal questions. Will SBF be in Metaverse jail? No. Let's see if the market got any better. Not really. Today could go either way or go nowhere. NASDAQ is up. Dow is down. Bitcoin is kind of even. So, kind of a boring day today, but that's okay. That's okay. Red rubles. I don't know if that's a good thing, but I appreciate it. Thoughts on ETH? Yeah, I'm a big fan of ETH. I think people have given up on it. A lot of people have given up on it, and I think that's the wrong decision. ETH will become a powerhouse. I think that Shanghai upgrade will actually do a lot of good, and it's very deflationary at this point. The more ETH that's locked up, the better it is, right? Supply and demand. So I think it's going to be a good thing. I fear selling Bitcoin and the moon's beyond. Yeah, that's a real fear. That's a real fear. All right, let's call it a day. We'll see where Bitcoin goes, but right now it wants to head higher. I talked about a supply shock that's incoming. I argue it's already here. We're already seeing supply drop. We're seeing demand increase, but there's going to be a lot more of it in the future. So stay strong, my friends. I'll see you guys tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right? Have a good one, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.